Over the next number of weeks, I will be making 9 videos featuring categories of my home area picks based on various specific criteria. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you will be notified each time a new video in this series is available. My community picks for homes 500 to 800,000. These communities all offer. Even the lowest price point neighborhoods are safe, lots of new and newer homes for low maintenance, some older homes with bigger lots, great schools, low incidence of homeless population, absence of violent protests, and great shopping but accessed by car. Their own unique lifestyle. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, what's up everybody? This is part 1 of a 9-part series on specific categories of homes that are my picks for the best of each category. My first subject is homes in the $500,000 to $800,000 price range. What are my picks for communities with homes in that price range? You know, in addition to being safe, these communities all have great schools and access to great shopping by car, but not necessarily walkable shopping. Some of these areas have home prices well below $500,000. Others of these areas are pushed up higher towards the upper limit and above. And other areas have homes in the price range both below and over the $500,000 to $800,000 range. I will detail this by community. I have 2 in Washington and 2 in Oregon. So I have 4 picks for my favorite areas for people to locate to. We're going to start at the far northern reach of my picks in Ridgefield, Washington. This is the first community that is totally separated from Vancouver. Salmon Creek, for instance, is the northernmost expansion of Vancouver, but there's no open space between Salmon Creek and Vancouver. And they don't have their own city government. They are governed by Vancouver and Clark County. So Ridgefield is only 10 minutes north of Salmon Creek on I-5. It was incorporated in 1909, and like most of the earlier incorporated cities in the area, it was originally located next to water, and that would be Lake River that runs out of Vancouver Lake and empties into the Columbia River about 3 miles northeast of Ridgefield. Ridgefield is really not much of a tourist destination. It's more of a sleepy, typical small town. Ridgefield has its own police department, fire department. They're building a brand new library. The old part of Ridgefield, the downtown core, is the westernmost part of Ridgefield and is separated from the sprawling suburb of Ridgefield by about 2 or 3 miles. If you want a walkable living experience in a small town, there are homes right in the downtown core starting at about $250,000, and they go up to the $600,000 or $700,000, which are pretty nice homes. The $250,000 homes are going to be turn-of-the-century homes with 1,000 square feet. There's some really nice walking paths along the river and a nice park, a boat ramp, an area to moor your boat, and there are a few floating homes. This floating home community is definitely on the lower end of both price and desirability compared to other floating home communities. And this floating home community is all leased slips. Nobody owns their slip here. But you can find some really cool historic homes in the downtown core, as well as mid-century bungalows. Okay, moving towards I-5, it is about 3 miles to the new retail expansion of Ridgefield. There's a nice emerging shopping center right along the main drag between I-5 and the downtown core of Ridgefield. And this is just right off of I-5. There is tons of new construction in Ridgefield, and some of these are 2 minutes from the new retail expansion. But this is definitely a bedroom community with a lot of up-and-coming retail and commerce. You are 20 minutes from Portland. You are 10 minutes from Salmon Creek, which you will find a lot more shopping, Fred Meyer, Safeway, etc. You'll find much more shopping in Salmon Creek, and you would probably find yourself going there for a fair percentage of your shopping. The schools here are under local control and are awesome. This is a community where you could come to know the police officers on a first name basis. They are very responsive to calls, in contrast with Portland, where just send us a postcard. There are tons of newer homes in Ridgefield which are not brand new construction, and we can find homes here in the mid-4s up to over $1 million, but there are lots of homes in the target range that we are making this video on. And you could spend a whole day exploring the offerings for homes in Ridgefield. Okay, next up, my second pick for $500,000 to $800,000 in Southwest Washington is Camas. Camas is 2 minutes off of Highway 14. It is an old mill town. When you come into town, you're going to go past a Georgia Pacific pulp mill, and this probably isn't the best first impression of Camas, but once you get past that, you come into the downtown core, which is really cool and cute. Camas was incorporated in 1906. It has a small downtown core, actually much larger than Ridgefield. It is still very much a small town. And they get a fair amount of tourist traffic here. It's a bustling town. Even in early March, when I shot this video, you had to walk a couple blocks to find a place to park. There are restaurants and boutiques, but not anywhere you'd really do your shopping for your wardrobe. Fun places, curiosity shops, candy shops, there's an insurance agency, gift shops. It'd be a great place for some fun impulse shopping. And there really is no vacant retail space there. That tells me that the downtown core is reasonably prosperous. It's about 6 blocks long and spreads a block or two into either direction from the 6 blocks. It's definitely all walkable from one parking location. There are also some homes available in the downtown core, and this could be considered a walkable neighborhood as well. But these are all turn of the century, mid-century homes. There's some historic homes here that are very cool. Price range here starts at about $350,000. This was the original housing for the mill workers, and so for the most part it's a fairly simple home community with a sprinkling of some very impressive historic homes. So I would consider this a very desirable community to live if you wanted a walkable experience in a small town. There is bus service available from downtown into the Vancouver C-Trans system. This area is safe, but Camas as a whole has many homes in the $500,000 to $800,000 price range, and they all share the awesome Camas schools. Most of the expansion of Camas, aside from the downtown core, went up the hill on a bluff, although the downtown core is in the valley near the river, doesn't flood, it is not a flood zone. While we're down on the valley floor, let's talk about the port of Camas, Washougal. Technically, the waterfront is in Washougal. There's really very little separation between Camas and Washougal. In fact, it's hardly noticeable that you've gone from one city to the other. You'll want to get back on Highway 14 and head east for 5 minutes. If you like boating, fishing, then Camas, Washougal is an awesome place to live. It's really hard to talk about Camas without talking about Washougal. Their residential areas are very similar and actually have a fairly similar price point when you compare features of the homes. And both Camas and Washougal have many awesome neighborhoods with views of the Columbia River. But back to the waterfront, the port has a boat launch. It also has quite a few spaces to moor boats. There's a restaurant down on the wharf. Notice as I do a 360 video from the moorage, you can see many of the homes on top of the bluff in Washougal. And this is very representative of what you get in Camas as well. Some of these newer homes are more than $800,000 on the bluff, but many others are well within our price range. Next thing I want to point your attention to is Lacamis Lake. There's a nice city park there with a boat launch, a lot of open space with mowed grass and children's play areas with play structures. When recording this video on a nice day in early March, please note the number of families and children that are there enjoying the park. Okay, as we go up the hill from Lacamis Lake, we're going to go through a section of homes that are $1 million and above. And as we turn the corner, we will get into homes in the $500,000 to $800,000 range. Some of these homes will have territorial views. We are on the back side of the Camas Hill now, so the views are going to be towards the north. When we get to the top of the hill and crest over, the views will be of the Columbia River. You know, really, by title, this video is about Camas, but it is really hard to talk about Camas without including Washougal. If we do a tour, you would be best served to spend the day looking at both Camas and Washougal to compare the features that each community offers. Okay, next, let's head into Oregon. My first pick in Oregon for the best place to move for $500,000 to $800,000 is Happy Valley. This is located just off Highway 205 to the east. There really is no downtown core. It's all new. Happy Valley was incorporated in 1965, and it is a bedroom community. So first let's look at the shopping that's available. Go across the freeway from Happy Valley. You're going to hit Clackamas Town Center immediately across the freeway. This is one of the big 3 shopping centers in the Portland area. Directly across the street from that to the south is the Clackamas Promenade. Between these 2 shopping centers, I think you'll find it hard to not find what you're looking for. From the very high-end stores like Macy's and Nordstrom, all the way down to Target. Okay, as we jump back across 205 and back into technically Clackamas, we are on Sunnyside Road, and Happy Valley to the east eventually cuts down to and crosses Sunnyside Road. But immediately after the freeway, you'll have to turn north off of Sunnyside Road in order to hit the city of Happy Valley. But this is just a short distance. But there's a ton of shopping, small shopping centers, one right after the other, right on the other side of 205 on Sunnyside Road. There's also one of Kaiser's large regional hospitals right in this area. The largest concentration of shopping in Happy Valley is from 142nd to 172nd on Sunnyside Road. And these are all reasonably new shopping centers, if not brand new, and there are some brand new ones under current construction. There are tons of homes in our price point here. Again, nothing real old. We were incorporated in 1965. So what existed before incorporation were modest homes on acreage. Most of the homes that exist in Happy Valley were built after 2000. This is a true bedroom community with amazing shopping, but albeit by car. It's not what I would consider a walkable shopping experience. You have great freeway access here, and the schools are gold standard. And I believe that this is totally worth a look if you are looking to relocate in Oregon on the Portland east side. Okay, next, let's look at the west side of Portland. My last pick is the Beaverton, Bull Mountain, Progress Ridge area. It's really hard to give this area a label, but let's start at the Progress Ridge Town Square. This is an amazing little shopping center that has a decent grocery store, although a mile down the road there's a Safeway. It is located on a small lake that used to be a rock quarry. It is now filled with water, and there are condos built around it and apartments up above that have a view of the lake, and a walking path that leads from the Progress Ridge Town Square, and that's the only way that this walking path is accessed. So here's a little tour of the inside core of this shopping center, and we are going to move in clockwise direction. This shopping center would be an awesome place to bring the family. They have coffee shops, they have soda shops. It'd be a great place for mom and dad to go with the kids, One goes shopping, the other take the kids down to the lake to feed the ducks. You can spend the day here and have lunch or dinner. There's one restaurant that I can speak from experience about, and that is La Provence. This is a French-style bistro that has just awesome food. Their Eggs Benedict, which is made on their homemade croissants, is to die for. But be ready for a wait. They do not take reservations, and it is not unusual to have an hour wait to get in. You go up to the desk, you give them your name and telephone number, and they text you when your table's ready. So you go there an hour before you want to eat and register, and then go do some shopping, and when you get a text, you go up and sit down and enjoy your lunch. You know, if we venture about a mile out from this shopping center, we will hit Beaverton, Bull Mountain, Shoals, and Tigard. This is why I say it's kind of hard to put a label on this area. Technically, the town square is in Beaverton. If doing a tour here, we could end up in any of these communities. There's an amazing amount of sprawl here. There's an amazing amount of new construction, and there is tons of homes in our price point in this area. There's a brand new high school, and this is impressive. It is huge. Check out the athletic field, and then the surrounding views of all the open space and new construction happening around the high school. When they started construction of this high school, it's like they're building this out in the middle of nowhere, but it's appearing to be less and less that all the time. And it's a short 20-minute hop to Hillsboro through the country if you are working in the high-tech industry of the Silicon Forest. And you are 10 minutes away from Washington Square and the 217 freeway. Washington Square is the largest shopping center of the big three in the Portland area. I consider it to be safer than Lloyd Center, which is basically an inner city northeast Portland shopping center, and I believe the oldest of the shopping centers in the Portland area. But they do have an ice skating rink there. Washington Square seems to be a little more adult-oriented than Clackamas Town Center. Clackamas Town Center has a lot of shops that are targeted towards the teens and their early 20s. Washington Square has some of these, but is more targeted to a little bit older demographic. They have a Tesla dealer right there. But if you cannot find what you're looking for at Progress Ridge, you will find it at Washington Square. So in a nutshell, within 10 minutes of your home, you can find anything you want to buy. I can't overstate how many residential communities exist in this area. We could easily spend 2 days scouring this area and touring homes. There's even lakefront condos available that has walkable shopping. And again, there's tons of open space here. If you're on a hill and you have a view, at least for now, you're going to see a lot of open space, and it's quite beautiful. I get tons of calls, and I consider each one to be a blessing.